Welcome back to A Man's Perspective. Today, I'm going to be talking about homelessness or the unhoused, as we're told to refer to them, to the people, those people now. And I'm going to be coming at this from my day-to-day context with homeless people or the unhoused people. I'm going to talk about why they're there, at least the stories that they've given me on why they're there, why they can't leave, or why it's difficult to leave, and maybe some things that we can do to mitigate it. In LA County, we've been experiencing double-digit growth of the homeless population. So one of the issues, well, let me go back a little bit and talk about me. At work, they've referred to some of my partners have referred to me as the transient whisperer because of the way I interact with them. I'm not the best at, but I'm pretty good at getting them to comply with our requests, to help me put them in situations that make it better for them. And I think it's because when I talk to them as if it was one of my family members. I try not to be too aggressive or give them commands, so to say. So, and I've been doing this for I've been in law enforcement for about 20 years now. But the homelessness issue within the past, 6-7 years that's been a majority of our calls. And so I want to talk about my experiences with them and how I think that we can help them. So one of the where does it come from? I'm often asked that. Where does it come from? Where does homelessness come from? And again, in talking to unhoused people, a majority of the issues stem from childhood incidents. I believe that they're self-medicating. They don't know how to, or maybe we don't have, a lot of them don't know how to go get assistance, mental health assistance. Because it is the process to get mental health assistance, at least in LA County, it's kind of difficult. It is there, but it's difficult to access because there's so many people trying to access very limited resources. As far as like shelters and therapists, we need a ton more therapists, a ton more psychologists. We need people that are clinically trained to talk with these people. And it's happening. We've been seeing a lot more, at least our mental health units in the field have been getting more clinicians attached to them so that we can go out and talk to homeless people. So it comes from a majority, not all. And I'm talking to you guys from my own personal context with them. I want to reiterate that because I am in no way trained to be a clinician or to diagnose or to give options to them, for them, or with them. So this is just my personal opinions on what I would do or how I would treat them if I was all of a sudden, ruler of the world or whatever. Hypotheticals, all hypotheticals, but based on my day-to-day context with them. Because like I said earlier, a majority of our calls stem or have a homelessness issue attached to them. So, and like another question I've been asked is why is it so hard to fix this issue? And I've actually learned some things from homeless people. I've learned that I really don't have freedom. We say freedom, but we don't have freedom. Some of the stories that these homeless people have told me, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. This one homeless lady told me, one of her peers or friends, someone in her friend group managed to get a gun, and she got the gun from that person and just started shooting right there in the street wherever they were at. She was shooting. According to her, she even shot at a moving car. Now, one thing to remember is that a lot of the stories are exaggerated. It may have just been in her head. But imagine if they were true. Imagine if that excitement, that adrenaline of getting a gun and just shooting it wherever you want and shooting it at a car. whether it's in their head or happening in reality, your brain thinks it's real, thinks it happened. So that the same adrenaline rush, the same cortisol rush, the same, all that stuff is the same. Your brain doesn't recognize. Once you believe something, your brain doesn't, or it has a hard time recognizing reality from what's up here. So imagine those stories were true. And just, they have such seemingly, they do the same stuff that we do. There's an economy in being homeless. There's like some guys fix bicycles or sell bike parts. And most of the women offer themselves as part of their economy. And they seem to have sex on a pretty regular basis. Most of it is kind of messed up. Like one homeless lady, one person told me that, and this broke my heart. This, like, as she was telling me, I was just, my heart was just, it weighed so heavy on my heart because I put myself in that situation. But she told me most of the time when they're sleeping, they'll feel men come on top of them and take their clothes off or pants down and take advantage of that situation and assault them and have intimate contact with them. But the thing that broke my heart is that she told me that they don't wake up. They don't say anything. They don't try to stop it because they know if they try to stop it, they're going to get viciously beaten to the point where they can end up in the hospital or even dead. So can you imagine being put in a situation where let yourself get the ultimate taken advantage of or death? Like, man, just as she was telling me, and just the nonchalant, haphazard kind of way that she was saying it, like it was, oh, it's just Tuesday and this happens, I was so set back. I was just so emotional that day because of her. I did my best to help her. We offered her shelter, clothing, all that stuff, like we always do. And most of the time they never take it. We come into contact with a lot of homeless people, and I would say less than 20% ever take advantage of what we offer them. And we offer them, like I said, shelter, food, clothing, showers, and very rarely do they accept it. So what we're fighting against is the idea of freedom with them. The homeless people feel like they have the ultimate freedom. And based on how it's been described to me, and I can see in their faces how excited they get when they're expressing the things that they're able to do. Like we tax paying citizens, like we have freedom in the broader sense of the word, but our day-to-day activities are highly controlled. You can't travel down the road past a certain speed. You can't walk around naked in public. We're highly controlled on the things that we can do, and it's not a bad thing. It's for a purpose because society functions that way. We're able to get things done because of these controls. And the issue regarding good or bad, I don't want to talk about that. But we don't really have the truest sense of freedom. I mean, some of those things and again, some of the stuff that I've seen myself, like a man just naked, rubbing feces all over himself. Even though that sounds disgusting, and it's very unhealthy, but to him, it was like, he's free. He's free to do that. He got an idea that he wanted to rub feces on himself, and so he rubbed feces all over himself. Even though that's not a freedom most of us would appreciate or even want to be a part of, but that's like freedom. We don't have that freedom. So it's an ideological issue that we're coming up against. The idea of freedom. What is freedom? What is the ultimate freedom? They live the ultimate freedom because they have really seemingly, active lives. They walk to different places. They take public transportation to different places. They've seen different places, almost like a tourist. If you would take out the fact that they're homeless, it would seem like someone's on visiting like another country, like they're tourists. But they do stuff. They have sex. They eat. They all that stuff that we do on a day-to-day basis. They do. They live like that. So until we figure out a way to deal with the drug issues, because a majority of that is caused from drugs. Like I said earlier about the self-medication. They're just trying to cover the pain that they have inside of them from things that happened to them when they were younger. A majority, not all, but a majority. It's been my experience in talking to them that's a majority of them are just trying to cover the pain from what they've experienced when they were kids. So I guess one of the things that we can do to help it is teach parents how to be parents. Teach parents not to take advantage of children. And I know there's a lot of media right now around adults taking advantage of young children. The whole stuff that you see on social media regarding that. So I guess we are making moves towards that. We're trying to make that a really bad thing, which is a good thing. We shouldn't be taking advantage of such young people and permanently altering their lives. Because I see so many young people, so many people in their 20s just homeless, dealing with what's going on in their head. So what are some things that we can do to help them? And we do most of it, like clothing, shelter, food, all stuff. The biggest thing that I think we can do to help them, though, is stop treating them like victims. When you see someone as a society, even as an individual, when you see someone as a victim, you tend to want to do more for them. You tend to let some of their actions be okay. Like that man rubbing feces on himself, the call that I got. People around him were, even though they were disgusted, no one had any real it saying it's wrong. I even had one lady, well, that's just society. They brought him to this, societal issues. I'm like, oh, that's not true. That's not true at all. The whole what is it? I forget what systemic stuff, all this systemic stuff. No, it's there's nothing systemic that's driving people to make these decisions that put them in these seemingly bad situations. Because I have also come across some homeless people that are fairly brilliant. An ex-attorney one time, he was so stuck on his cause against the judicial system that he gave up working, he gave up everything, and he planted himself in front of a courthouse. And every day he would just yell at the judges, yell at the courthouse, yell at the police, because he was so upset at the judicial system. He didn't think it was fair. And he let himself get really sick, let himself get really unhealthy. So sometimes, and that's rare, that's super, super rare. Yeah, I know people like to point to these rare things like, oh, there's that one person. No, that's super, super rare. The majority have serious mental health issues, serious drug addictions, serious issues, things that happen to them as kids that they're dealing with. So one of the things that I would do is stop treating them like victims. Because when we treat someone like a victim, when we see someone as a victim, we tend to baby them. And we can't do that. We have to find ways to hold them accountable. Like, one thing I would do is legalize all drugs. Just legalize it. But not just legalize it and let everybody do whatever they want to do. I would legalize it, or no, we're kind of in the process of doing that, decriminalizing personal use, because that is happening now. But one thing we're failing to do is every time we come into contact with someone that's high, we just send them to the hospital to get the cocktail that brings everything down, and then we let them go. We need to get them help. We need to, instead of letting them go, I would say put them make them have to go see a therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, right then and there, right once they're done with the cocktail, just sending them right to a therapist. And that's hard because we come into contact, most of the time it's at night that we're putting them into hospitals, and no clinicians, no therapists want to be out at night talking to homeless people. But I think if we did that, it would really help curb the drug self-medication portion of it, and and lead to people getting healed. So, can this problem be fixed? No, can't be fixed. It can be fixed because the ideological problem that we're running up against freedom, what freedom really is. And it's been the homelessness. We have hundreds of millions of dollars going to homeless issues right now, just in LA County alone. It's been monetized. This is a problem that's been monetized. There's too many jobs dependent on people being homeless now. And I'm talking very well-paying jobs, 250,000, 500,000 plus jobs, directly connected to the homelessness issue in Los Angeles. So we're not gonna make it go away anymore. There's way too much money now. Is there a way to make it go away? Yeah, we can fix anything, but it's not going to be money. It's going to be taking the time to sit and talk to people like they're valuable, like they're important, not discarding them, not treating them like they're victims, not treating them like they're wicked or evil, because we're all fairly close to being that way. We all have mental health issues that are demons in our head and our skeletons in our closet, however you want to put it. We all have issues that we're trying to overcome. So you know how they say everyone's one paycheck away from being homeless? That's pretty true. It's been my experience in talking to people. It's even in my own life. There's been points in my life where I've been one paycheck away from sleeping in my car. So there is a way to fix it, but I don't think we're, as a society, we're not poised to do it. But on an individual level, if you see them, don't, and it's kind of hard because sometimes they smell so bad, but don't treat them like they're second class, or they're not important. There's a real safety issue because a lot of them will one minute see you and the next minute see the devil. So be alert, be aware, keep distance away, but say hi and just keep walking. Don't try to engage them, but just say hi and keep walking. If you have something extra in your home that you can give to them, give it to them. Don't hoard stuff so you can make money later on. That's what we can do on an individual level. But the only way to fix it on a societal level is if somehow we find a way to control the money aspect of it. There's so much more to get into when it comes to homeless issues, and some of my views are not okay for public consumption, because like I don't think that there's systemic issues in our society with with things that cause homeless issue. I think it's purely the whole freedom thing and the mental health issue and the drug use. It's not because there are things in place to make people that way. I think there are things in place that prevent people from getting help. I think there are things in place that we don't make it easy for them, like the mental health office. It's just, and it's not their fault. It's not that they're trying to not help people. It's just that there's such a huge need. We need to put the money towards therapists, towards clinicians, towards the stuff on the day-to-day aspect of their lives. That's where all the money needs to go. So I hope that we do make a dent in it, because it doesn't seem like we are. Like I said earlier, we keep, every time we do an audit or a census count, it grows by double digits. And more motels are being taken over by homeless. I know so many motels that are 80% populated by homeless issues. It's great for the business, but it's, imagine you staying next to someone who has all these parasites and stuff on them, or you're staying in a room where someone had parasites on them. So there are gains to be made. There are things that we can do. There are ways to fix it. But I, at my level, are never going to do that because number one, I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not educated or trained to do that. I'm just giving my perspective on my day-to-day interactions with them. I hope that we do change it because a lot of these people have families. A lot of these people are brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, that need our love, our care, our guidance, our support. I really do hope that we help them. So I hope that this conversation with myself and with you, the audience, may shed some light on the homelessness issue. Because I really do want to help them. I really do want things to get better for them. And because in getting things getting better for them, things get better for us as a society as a whole. So I hope this helps. I hope this gives some perspective. And again, this is a perspective from someone who's not trained, who's not a clinician, who has no, no, probably not even any right to speak about it. But I do hope it helps. So thank you for watching A Man's Perspective. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, like and subscribe, and we will do our best to answer those questions. And if you're homeless, because they do have phones, almost all of them have phones, and you're watching this, there's help out there. There's people that really do care about you. There's people that love you. And I know it doesn't feel that way, but there's people that really do love you and want you to get better, want you to feel better about yourself. So reach out to firefighters, to police, to hospitals, and get the care that you need. So thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.